By birth, Section 2, The Analogy of a Birth Machine. Part 1, Constructing a Birth Machine. Life exists after conception. Life did not exist before conception. At the moment of conception, something happened. When the spark of life occurred, you have a life when before you have nothing. After conception, you have an existence emanating from a location within time and space. This existence has no dimension, but it does have position. It exists in both time and space. The transition from nothing to existence took place in an instant. Imagine, for the sake of argument, that we can build a birth machine that creates life as shown here. The machine is capable of conceiving life. It can create life from nothing in a single moment in time. Before going into the machine, on the left, there is no life. After coming out of the machine, on the right, there is life. We do not know how this happens. All we know is that it does happen. Theoretically, here is how our machine works. 1. We take nothing and put it into the input side of our birth machine. 2. It passes through the birth machine in an instant. 3. It comes out of the output side of the birth machine as life. This is only a theory. There is nothing going on here that we do not see. This is simply a matter of describing birth in an unconventional and mechanical way. All I did was define conception, the beginning of life, in geometric terms. I am saying 1. Before conception, there was no life. 2. After conception, there is life. 3. The transition at conception from no life to life took place in an instant. Part 2. Defining the transition of conception. I want to take a closer look at our birth machine. We need to understand conception that has taken place. To understand how conception works in geometric terms, let us first look at an inferior birth machine that operates with diminished capacity. Here is what that diminished birth machine looks like. 1. On the left input side of the machine, we put in a sphere that is 1 inch in diameter. 2. Inside the machine, the sphere undergoes a change to become a sphere that is 10 inches in diameter. 3. The sphere is expelled out the right output side of our machine as a 10-inch diameter sphere. 4. The change took place in an instant. So far, so good. We understand how our birth machine expands a sphere to 10 times its pre-birth size in an instant. To understand how conception really works, we need to take the concept of the change above and push it to its limits. Here is what that would look like. 1. On the left input side of our machine, we put in a 0 diameter sphere shown as a small red dot. The sphere has position only. It has no length, no width, no depth, but it does exist. Inside the machine, the sphere undergoes a change where it becomes a sphere of unlimited diameter. The sphere of unlimited diameter would encompass all of space. 3. The sphere, now all of space, is expelled out the right output side of our machine. 4. This change took place in an instant. To see how conception works, we need to look at this change from a purely geometric perspective. Before conception, shown as the left side of the birth machine, the sphere is a geometric point. It is location only with no dimension. After birth, the sphere becomes all space. It becomes a universe. The transition from point to all space took place in an instant. You may think a transition like this cannot take place in nature, but it does. This is a dimensional change of life. A dimensional change is when position within space becomes all space. It is when a geometric point is turned inside out to become the surrounding space. It is possible because our birth machine is now perfected. It takes the smallest possible thing and in one instant turns it into the largest possible thing. By putting a geometric point through our machine, it changes dimension to become space. Part 3. Birth and dimensional change. You may think our theoretical birth machine is arbitrary. You may think that dimensional change like this never occurs in nature. Conception is the creation of life. How did life get there? Based on observation alone, we can see that at the moment of conception, life underwent dimensional change. The output of conception is life. Life is position within space. Keep in mind that before conception, there was no life. So what you have at conception is life going from nothing to position within time and space. Look at conception as the change from nothing to existence. Geometrically, this is the same change as our birth machine. Mathematically, the change from nothing to position and position to all space are the same. 1. Before conception, there is no life. Life has no position. Geometrically, life is nothing. 2. All of a sudden, inside the machine, nothing undergoes dimensional change and gets blown up the order of magnitude of a geometric point becoming all space. Life comes out the right side of the machine. The dimensional change of life from nothing to position happened in an instant. This event is conception, life coming into existence when a moment before there was nothing is dimensional change. Part 4. Conception defined as dimensional change. We do not have to understand the details to see conception work. We only need to observe the input and output side of the event. Here is what we have. 1. Conception takes place in an instant. This is a slice of time. 2. Life is the output of conception. Life is located at a point in time and a point in space. Life exists in the present. The present is a point in time. In like manner, life exists at a point in space. 3. Nothing was the input side of conception. Given these 3 observations, what you have at conception is life undergoing a change from nothing to position in space and time. This change occurred at a point in time. This concludes Proof of Afterlife by Birth, Section 2. The important points are: 1. Conception takes place at a single point in time and space. 2. At that point, life undergoes a dimensional change from nothing to life. You may now proceed to Section 3.